Who Dares Wins? It's SAS Combat Simulator. Who Dares Wins being the motto of the SAS, the Special Air Service, a secret squirrel part of the British Army that do special operations. Think a bit, if you're watching in America, kind of Navy SEALs type thing. And this is a game by Codemasters, and we're going to start off on the Atari ST, with a very badly digitised loading screen. The game was released in 1989 across 5 formats: ST, Amiga, Spectrum, Commodore and Amstrad, and re-released on the Quattro Combat compilation, I believe, along with Ninja Massacre and Inexplicably Deathstalker as well. I can't remember what the 4th game was on that compilation. And of course most people would have been familiar with the SAS in the UK in the 1980s through, well, the film Who Dares Wins with Lewis Collins of The Professionals, which was loosely, vaguely based on the Iranian embassy siege from 1980-1981. So off we go, and it's a Commando / Atari Warriors, or even a Who Dares Wins clone with very large bullets. I mean, look at the size, the bullets are the size of people's heads. You get grenades as well if you hold down the fire button. Inexplicably, the 16-bit versions offer you a keyboard control as well. Over to the Amiga. Better music, same loading screen, same graphics. And actually, it does have a bit of that Who Dares Wins music about it. I mean, every kid in the 80s had seen Who Dares Wins, or more specifically the last 10 minutes, because it's the only good bit of the film, with Lewis Collins running around the embassy place shooting the bad guys. On the Amiga, on all the versions, if you collect a Codemasters logo, you get a power-up, and the Jeep is the best power-up you can get. You can't jump in the tanks, just the Jeeps. And when you get so far along the level, you're suddenly scrolling the other way, so you go left to right, and then you go bottom to top on level 1. The Jeep affords you a certain amount of protection, won't protect you from grenades, but you can run people down. Over to the C64, which I think may well have been the original version. 16-bit versions came out 1990, 8-bit versions 1989. And we started off with the Commodore 64, original, not a C, so you can see the colours are a bit more vibrant. We'll be going over to the C in a bit as soon as I need a crack to get through this game. Bullets are a better size on the C64, and there's a little bit more on the screen as well, so it's a bit more playable. The direct comparisons are, of course, with Commando, Who Dares Wins, Atari Warriors, and this game is not as good as any of those. One weird thing with the C64 version is you can easily shoot over objects such as these wooden bits here. They're supposed to be the tops of buildings, I think, but your bullets go over them, which is handy for getting rid of baddies. There are grenades in the game. They are really annoying. On all the versions, they require a certain degree of precision to hit any bad guys. The whole idea of a grenade is you throw it and it destroys a large area. Not in this game. Over the Spectrum, a 48k version only, no 128k version. And the bullets are quite big. And the collision detection, as we're going to see, is dodgy as anything. If it hits the area around your character, you're dead. Same colour scheme as Commando, not as much fun at all. Although on the 8-bit versions, the Jeeps are available at an earlier stage than they are on the ST and Amiga. It's aping Commando. It really is trying to ape Commando, and you can see the similarities here. It's just not as fun. And remember, Commando's a much, much older game than this. You would have thought they'd make a little bit more effort. They've tried to differentiate themselves, but this needs refining. It's too fiddly. It's too frustrating. This lacks a little bit of speed. Nice loading screen on the CPC. And a graphic on the right-hand side as Codemasters like to use, which disguises the fact that the play area is quite small. Same music as... oh, is it Super Stuntman? Both on the Spectrum and the Amstrad. And off we go, nice and colourful. And it's a little bit slow and hard to see things. It's a curious hybrid of the C64 and Amiga or an ST versions here, with the larger bullets all in white. And the grenades don't always destroy the enemy buildings. On the Amiga and ST they do. On the Spectrum and Amstrad, you might get someone fall outside the building, but you might not, and it doesn't seem to do much. So that building's still shooting at me despite having had 3 grenades thrown at it. I do have a cheat here on the Amstrad. Level layouts are exactly the same as the Spectre. In fact, the level layouts are very similar on all the versions. Parts are generally in the same places, apart from on the Spectre and Amstrad, the Jeep, and the C64. The Jeep is a little bit earlier on than the ST and Amiga. There's supposed to be Codemasters logos on the Amstrad, but goodness knows what they actually are. There's no 2-player mode either, unlike Atari Warriors, which is a much more polished and much better game on the Amstrad. Forward on a bit on this level, lost my Jeep, power over there, it's probably an extra life from memory. There's extra life, rapid fire, the Jeep, and a smart bomb thing as well, in terms of power-ups. Now you can shoot the trains for bonus points when they come down there, and that's the end of level 1. And if you thought you wanted more of the same thing, no, you're suddenly on a Commando type level, and it's quite bad, it's very bad. Basically, you know in Commando how you can climb up things and you can lay down and do various bits. On this, you just weakly hold out a knife and you run like Blakey from On the Buses. Good job of going for the lives here. It's really hard to predict where and when to hit the baddies. And on the ST, it's terrible. I mean, look at the walking animation. Running, walking, what's going on there? And over to the Spectrum. A little bit faster than the Amstrad, but it's still Blakey in a helmet running along. And eventually you reach the end of the level. It's incredibly annoying. Colour change for level 2. Means the bullets are just as bad to see when they're coming towards you, depending on the background you're on. Which is the big frustration on the Spectrum version. It's really hard to see, along with the collision detection, what is heading your way at times. And we're on RGB, not RF, as people would have been back in the day. Codemasters logo, rapid fire. It does exactly what it... See, what even hit me then? What even hit me then? Did someone touch... I think he touched me. I've got... It's just rubbish. So, on the C64, the Green Beret level is even so blatant to rip off the music from Green Beret. But it's nowhere near as good. It's just rubbish. We got some music at the end of the level. Well done, you've destroyed the enemy's base, blah, blah, blah. On to level 2. I don't know what that mystery bonus was. It's a question mark. Now, on the Amiga, fighting my way through level 2 with a cheat. This is the Amiga 600, by the way. I had to go and find a cracked version of this. Couldn't get very far into it at all. The game is... Well, the running around top-down sections are okay. The running side-to-side levels are incredibly hard. Here we go again. Now got a force field on the Amstrad. That's another one of the power-ups. Doesn't tell you when it's going to run out though, which is super handy. Yeah. Oh, you see there, it just ran out without any warning. It just... No, I've still got it. Why did I die? I've got a force field. Why did I die? Green Beret again. You've got to get it exactly right or you won't hit them. Too soon and you hold the knife out, you just die. Too late, they get you. It's got to be dead on exactly right in a way that Green Beret was quite frustrating. But this is even worse. There's no weapon power-ups either. I mean, why everyone else has got a knife as well? It's just, well, it's just ease of use, isn't it? Why do you have a gun? Why don't you have a gun and you can duck down out the way? C64 of all these versions is the one that holds up the best. Now we've picked up a jeep or tank or something. We're now able to just mow people down on the surface of the moon, which is where we appear to be. Oh, no, there's a road. I apologise. There's a road. And the certainly of all these versions, C64 was most polished with planes and things going past as well. Still no good. And here we go again. Green Beret music, and I've got that wrong as well. Level 4 on the Amstrad, you do on all these versions get to walk through the water. You can still shoot, but you slow down. And there are crocodiles in the water as well. Which I managed to shoot one there. Okay, this is a budget game. But also arguably not long after this, well, probably around this time, Atari Warriors would have been out on the Encore label. So even though this is original content, so to speak, you're comparing yourself against a much better game. And Commando on the Spectrum as well. Commando on the Spectrum is brilliant. Atari Warriors on the Amstrad is brilliant. And this, for a 16-bit game, is laughable. Oh. And there are only 4 levels. All stage finished, 5,000 bonus points on the Amiga. And it loops round. And that's 20 minutes of your life you ain't getting back. SAS Combat Simulator on budget. And the problem is, of course, on budget, you could be buying Commando or Atari Warriors about the time this game was released, certainly on the market in 1990. The Amstrad version looks nice, but it's very slow. And there's no reason you'd want to play this. Okay, I got this on Quattro Combat, and at the time those games were selling for $2.99. So what, you're playing about 70p or so for the game, 75p, something like that. So it's not so bad. On the Spectrum, the collision detection is awful, and it's really hard to see the bullets coming towards you. C64 version is the most polished of the lot. It looks and sounds quite good, but the gameplay is extremely limited and frustrating. And goodness me, this is a total embarrassment for a 16-bit game, even if it's budget. It's short, it doesn't play particularly well. You can tell why there wasn't a big market for 16-bit budget games at the time when the quality is like this. I'm afraid SAS Combat Simulator is a rip-off of much, much better games, all of which would have been available on budget at the time. Atari Warriors, Commando, and Who Dares Wins. They're all far better games than this.